Hello, I'm Jacob with the Virtual Technology Assistance Program at Thomas Nelson Community College. Today, we will be covering the importance and usefulness of keyboard shortcuts, as well as some of the most commonly used keyboard shortcuts in Windows 10. Keyboard shortcuts make it very easy to perform some commonly used action very quickly. Let's take copy and pasting, for example. I have all this text in one Word document that I want to move to another. The long way would be to select the text, right-click, copy, and paste it over here. This process works just fine, but if we need to copy and paste a lot, then it can be too slow for us. This is where keyboard shortcuts come in. Let's rewind and try again. Now, I still want to select just this little bit of text, so I'll do that, and now I'll use Control-C to copy, go back over here, and press Control-V to paste. That was so much faster. Before we get much further, I want to take a moment to talk about who keyboard shortcuts are for, or more specifically, who they aren't for. For the most part, keyboard shortcuts are for people who are already familiar with the long way of doing things, clicking on menus and doing things with the mouse. If you are still new to Windows 10 and you don't feel like the menus are slowing you down, then keyboard shortcuts probably aren't for you just yet. I would still like to encourage you to try them out, as it might be more intuitive for you, but in general, becoming proficient with the long way is, in my opinion, a far better way to learn. And when you are more comfortable using your computer that way, I'd recommend you start using keyboard shortcuts then. Alright, with that out of the way, let's move on to some of my favorite keyboard shortcuts. So we went over how to copy over text to another document, but what if we want to move the text into the new document rather than just copying? Well, for that we can use cut and paste. So again, this time let's go with this text here, and we'll use Control-X to cut. Notice how it completely disappeared here, and Control-V to paste. Another one of my favorites is to quickly switch between open windows. The long way is, of course, to click through everything you have open until you find what you're looking for. But if you want to just quickly switch to your last opened window, you can use Alt-Tab. If you were looking very closely, you might have seen a menu up for just a split second. It actually stays on the screen for as long as we are holding down the Alt key. Let's take a closer look at it. Here it shows every window we have open, and the white outline is what we will switch to if we release Alt right now. We can go forward by pressing Tab again. Notice how it switched over to this window. We can cycle through all these and it'll loop back to the beginning when it hits the end. Or if we want to go backwards, we can actually press Alt-Shift-Tab and keep, while holding down Alt and Shift, press Tab to go backwards. But for the most part, you really only need to press Alt-Tab and jump to your most recently used window. Now, if we go back to this original document right here, we can notice that it's still missing this text. What if that was a mistake and we want to undo it? Well, there's actually a keyboard shortcut for that, which is Control-Z to undo. And look, there it is back again. Well, what then? What if we change our mind and we decide that we really do want it gone? Well, for that, we use Control-Y, and that will actually redo something that we undid. Think of it this way. Every time we make a change to the document or edit it in some way, the program actually keeps track of all that. We can move backwards or forwards on the tree. But be careful, if we undo something and then start making new changes, the entire old branch is removed and replaced by your new changes. Okay, so another really useful shortcut is to select everything. Instead of needing to manually drag all the way across to make sure we get everything, we can actually use a keyboard shortcut for that. So Control-A selects all things, A for all. And from there we can cut or copy, or we can even do things like increase the font size in Word. Alright, so the last thing I want to talk about is using these same shortcuts inside the Windows File Explorer. Believe it or not, there is in fact a shortcut to open up the File Explorer, and that is Windows key E. And for those of you that would like to know the long way too, by default, the File Explorer is pinned to the taskbar right down here, or we can press the Windows key and just start typing File Explorer, and it comes right up. So here I have some files that I want to manipulate. Let's select them and use Control-C to copy. Now let's go into our folder here and use Control-V to paste. And because this was a copy and not a cut, we can see that by going back to the original folder, all of our files are still there, and we actually have 2 copies now. So let's actually go ahead and undo that with Control-Z, because I actually want to cut them in there rather than copy. So again, let's select all of these. And just to show redoing, let's do a Control Y here. They can come back and we can undo them. I really do want them gone, so we'll leave it like this. Now if we go to the root folder, let's select all of them and use Control X this time. Some of you may have noticed that I didn't use Control A to select everything. This is because I don't want to select the virtual tap folder because I cannot move something into itself. It just doesn't make sense to select the destination of where we want to move everything. But if we did want to select it, Control A works here just fine. So let's grab the selection we want again, use Control X, go into our folder, and paste. There they are. Let's see if they're back in the original. Nope, it completely moved them. I hope that this video was useful. I know I enjoyed sharing some of my favorite keyboard shortcuts, but there are many more out there. Do you have a favorite that I didn't cover? Or do you have any questions about the content? If so, feel free to leave it in the comments below or send them to us at vtaptncc@gmail.com. Have a great day!